Yeah!
Yeah.
Yeah! Hey, everybody, welcome back to our little show.
Roll with the troll.
Roll with the troll and the voice of reason.
That's
right
me.
here. This is the voice of reason.
Nice to meet you.
Yes. Well, you've known him for a long time now, actually. But so, hey, guys, today we are reviewing, spoiler review, even though the movie's almost 20 years old.
Always a spoiler review around here.
Always. Rocky Balboa.
Yeah.
From 2006.
Yeah.
You know, this was such a surprise kind of film that actually got made because it was years and years of Stallone like talking about it and saying it might happen, and then he wasn't sure, and it just seemed like it was going to stay in development hell forever until we'd eventually get an announcement that, hey, it's just canceled, it's not going to happen.
Right.
But as usual, as per Sylvester Stallone, he always hangs in there and he always gets his projects done no matter how impossible they seem.
Yeah. No matter how unlikely, he makes it happen.
He does. So Rocky Balboa was born. Now, the rap on this was kind of that this was the way he really wanted to end the franchise because Rocky V didn't turn out well, right? That's what Stallone and almost all, I'd say 80%, 90% of the fans think, is that Rocky V was a letdown and you couldn't end the franchise on a letdown. So Rocky Balboa was the way to bring it all back.
Yeah.
And I've never really seen it that way. I actually prefer Rocky V.
Really?
Yeah. This one, again, I say this a lot about movies. They're on paper, it's great. The idea, if I just read the bullet points, I'd say, oh my God, that sounds great. Execution to me was not. Look, I love the movie. I love all Rocky films.
Right.
But the execution to me didn't really pan out. A lot of the dialogue was really bad.
Are you talking about Balboa or Five?
No, I'm talking about Rocky Balboa. Yeah,
okay.
I'm in this. Hey, I'm in the spoiler review now, baby. Yeah, I felt like the way this film was shot, the dialogue, a lot of it didn't really connect well for me. I'll tell you this. Yeah, especially the dialogue with Paulie.
I think
really
I'm
bad.
Too connected to Balboa because I was just emotional through the whole thing.
Yeah. Yeah, a lot of it didn't seem like the moments weren't very believable. Paulie has really bad dialogue with Rocky. You know, or like there's one scene where Rocky says, "Hey, you got to come take the tour." You know, where he's going to go through all of. Yeah. And Paulie goes, "Rock, I got a job here. I got to go to my job." And Rocky says, "Yeah, but it's the anniversary." And then like that's it. The Paulie, okay, I'll be there. Like just there were so many moments like that. That's only one example out of a lot where I felt like, geez, you're not even trying to make this a believable dialogue or a context that I can buy into. It's just, okay, I'll be there. His son kind of did the same thing. I got plans. Okay, I'll be there. Oh, I canceled. I just, I didn't necessarily like all that. But the movie itself, I do think, you know, has a lot of merit. Again, it's a strong story, like all the Rocky stories, about this guy who's going through this internal hell, and he needs to do something. And in the end, coming back to his love for boxing is what saves him from the biggest loss he could deal with, right? So I really dig that aspect of it. I'll tell you this, Antonio Tarver did no favors to this film. That guy, if you guys don't know the story here, Antonio Tarver, the real boxer, who plays the, you know, not a villain, but like the counterpart to Rocky, the opponent. He was really a dick. In the last minute, he shook Stallone down, literally the day before they were going to shoot the big, expensive boxing match.
Oh, I remember this story.
Remember this?
Yeah.
The big, expensive thing that they needed HBO and everything for. They only got one shot at that. So, like, if someone got a cold or anything, you had to fight through it. This was very, very important to the film, and tons of money was at stake. I think most of the film's budget went to that, to get the fight scene looking real and shot with HBO and all that stuff. So Antonio Tarver shook him up for more money the day before and literally had his people just say, "We're not coming in unless you give him more money." And Stallone's like, "There isn't even more money to give, though. I barely got this movie made. There was no interest in it."
Wow.
And so I
hate dickhead moves like that.
Yeah, to be fair, who knows what else was going on? I mean, maybe Stallone did something unfair to him. Maybe there was something that, you know, we don't know. So yeah, I kind of doubt it. But anyway, that's what happened. In the last minute, they shook him down for a lot more money. And I would imagine some of those punches that Stallone had to throw probably ended up having a little bit more realism to them than they were supposed to.
I guess Antonio Tarver should have taken that into consideration before he pulled that move. Like, geez, I'm going to pull this, and then I got to get into the ring and film. Film this with him.
It's funny watching them box too, because the rap is that Stallone is so old, that Rocky's so old, and then Antonio Tarver is this young, strong champion. But Rocky's in way better shape than him.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I almost think that was a bad move to cast a guy who, because you don't buy into it as well. At least for me, I didn't. I just kept feeling like Stallone's a bigger, more muscular guy.
Yeah.
I don't care that he's older. I think he can whip his ass.
Yeah.
So anyway, but yeah, great movie. A lot of the stuff with Adrian was really good, right? The whole, all of his loss and his mourning.
Yeah. Well, for me, the whole. I mean, you've talked about some of the other films you feel like they lean into like the chick flick arena there, but for me on this one on Balboa, as a girl, because I'm a girl, I am gutted by this one throughout the entire, like from start to finish. I don't know if more than 10 or 15 minutes goes by without me weeping or at least having a tear in my eye. And sometimes I just outright sob. Like it's so palpable for me, the grief and the loss and just the poignancy of so many of his stories. I mean, he's got the story with his son going on. He's got the grief over Adrian going on. He's got his, desire to get back in the ring going on just so that he can feel relevant. And then he's got such a big heart and, he has his restaurant going on and he gives and he gives and he gives to his employees, to the customers, to the fans. And I don't know, this is the most emotional installment so far for me. So I'm in love with this one. This one, of everything that has been done so far, Rockies 1 through 5, and then this one, when I see this one, it's my favorite one. I can forget all of the other ones because this one just sticks with me.
Yeah, and I get it, even though this is pretty much my least favorite. It's in the maybe the first film. The two that most people really revere, this one and the first film, are really the two that I historically, at least, maybe that's changing now a little bit. Historically, I think are the least strong. And mostly, it's not because they're chick flicks and such. It's mostly because the dialogue, again, is a little weak, and some of the scenes are not convincing to me. I feel like, no, this is just bad acting. What's going on here? I'll tell you this. Stallone said that for this film, they had to shoot it quickly, and he said a lot of times it was just a couple of quick takes and you move on, and they didn't really try to get stuff completely perfect. They kept it more organic.
Yeah.
I don't think that worked for me. I think that can work for me. It didn't work for me here because, again, like I said earlier, there are so many scenes where I just feel like this isn't convincing. The acting isn't necessarily right. The dialogue's not necessarily right. And also, they do a bit of what we see on Cobra Kai sometimes where they move so quickly that they kind of leave a hole that you have to fill in on your own. And there's a little bit of that in this film where I feel like, geez, I would have liked a little bit of explanation as to how we got from here to here, but okay. And the whole thing with Little Marie.
Yeah.
I think this was a great subplot.
Yeah.
But I also think there was some missed opportunities. I think it would have been nice if at the end of the day, if there was like an almost kiss or something, and then Rocky just says, you know what, I would have liked a defining line from him of like, I can't ever do that. And instead, this movie was very subtle, where you didn't need that. You didn't need it, but I do feel like, at least not even thinking for me, but for just the general public, I think it would have been maybe a little more Hollywood, but a little bit better to have a definitive, like, I can't ever do that, And it was kind of said subtly, right? There was.
Yeah, well, I mean, you definitely get the impression by the end of the movie that there is an affection that's developed between the two of them, but it's not romantic. And I think for Little Marie, she might have had like a little bit of a glimmer of, she might have been starting to feel a little bit romantic, but, was holding it back because it just didn't feel right or feel appropriate. And it wasn't going to be reciprocated. But, no, I think it would have been a mistake for them to get too much further into this concept of a romantic thing, even if Rocky in the end said, no, this isn't going to work for me. No, I don't think that would have resonated, and I don't think it would have fit with his character. I mean, he, even after Adrian's passing, is so dedicated to her. He always was, always will be, and I think that's more true to Rocky.
Well, then how about something where maybe Little Marie, after Rocky leaves a room or something, you just have a moment with her, because I never knew how she felt about him, and I feel like that was left to guesswork. Like, I think some people would say what you said. Yeah. Others might say she probably was in love with him. And we just really don't know. And I feel like that would have been nice if you're going to have the subplot take so much time in the film. Same with Steps, too. I wanted to know, was Steps in love with Rocky? No, I'm kidding. I wanted to know, what was Steps really feeling? Because there's a lot of extra footage on the cutting room floor about Steps. In the DVD, there's a deleted scene where he's kind of mad at Rocky at first. He kind of resents that Rocky's trying to be his buddy. Mm-hmm. And Rocky's trying to teach him life lessons. And Steps says, oh, what? So you got life all figured out? Huh? You got life all figured out, and you're going to teach me. And it's such a great scene. Yeah. But Rocky just goes, you think if I had life all figured out, you think I'd be out here in the cold? He's like out in the cold doing like moving fish into the restaurant.
Yeah, I remember seeing that.
Oh my God, that moment to me is one of my favorite scenes, and it's not in the film. Once again, the Rocky films tend to give me the best scenes on the cutting room floor. But yeah, guys, that's. In short, I mean, that's the way I look at this film. I just think there's a lot of missing pieces. There's things that could have been more sewn up. The same storyline with the kid again, too, which was similar to what we saw in 5, but it's different because Robert's grown up.
They're at odds, and then in the end, they've resolved.
Yeah, I would have liked a little bit more of why, what happened exactly. Like, give us a moment where this is what I meant earlier when I said we skipped over things. Give us a moment where the kid maybe has like a flashback or something, and like, why did he show up at the after all this blowing off of Rocky? Why did he show up at the cemetery? And wanted and say, I just want to be with you. Another thing, it was great though. I'll tell you this: it was great at the end to see everybody come together and train with Rocky. Yeah, we had Steps. Mm-hmm. We had Little Marie was there sometimes, I think, even though it was mostly a guys' club. We had our good friend Robert was there. We had Duke, of course, doing the training. Yeah. Great to see Duke again. Ooh. So yeah, we had some really cool stuff. Like getting them all together. Paulie was there, getting everyone together, all Rocky's friends to support him. I thought was really cool. And same with the final fight too, of course. Yeah. How about at the very end of the final fight, Rocky doesn't stay to even hear how he did. Yeah. This was another one I thought was kind of subtle. I don't know that it was clear. Like a friend of mine was saying, what was the point of that? My take was just that he didn't care, that his fight was over.
Yeah, mission accomplished. He did what he wanted to do.
Yeah, and that was really all there was to it. Yeah. But again, I don't know if that was entirely clear to a lot of people. I think it would have been interesting if Little Marie had said, or someone had said something to Rocky like, "Don't you want to stay in here?" And he just, I don't even care. And he just storms out. Like that would have been a little more clear. But instead, I think there was another moment that was just a little unclear. You could take it either way and not really be sure what was going on. Well, Voice of Reason, any final thoughts about this great movie?
I love it. I love it. You and I have different opinions a lot of times, and this is probably one of them, but this is my favorite. Yeah. Well, again,
I still love it, but I do think there were a lot of things that could have been better. And when I heard Stallone talking about how they kind of rushed through some things and he didn't have all the cooperation that he could have used from like Antonio and some of the other people, then I kind of see it.
Yeah. But still, overall, I love this film because if I go through an entire film and I'm this emotional and I'm this like invested, I cannot look away or forget about it afterwards, then to me, that's a great film.
Yeah. Well, and again, I think really good. One final note I've got to make, because I thought this guy was so good, was the trainer. This is another subplot that didn't get enough attention. The trainer for Mason Dixon. There was a little subplot at the beginning when Mason goes back to his old trainer.
Yes. Oh, yeah, that was sweet.
And he actually has the best line in the film when he says you got to reach down deep and you find the only kind of respect that matters is self-respect. Mm-hmm. And I thought the first time I saw this film, I thought, oh, that's a great line. That the only respect that matters in the world is self-respect. That was really good. That guy was really good. I would have liked that subplot to get more developed too. Give it a few extra minutes of breathing room. Yeah. Didn't really quite have that for me, but again, he was another shining point in this movie that I do feel is overall kind of rushed and a little bit kind of disconnected here and there.
Hey, hit the like button, please.
Yeah, please. Like and support the channel. This video's come to an end, but guys, thank you so much for supporting the channel. Let us know in the comments what you think of this film, of the whole Rocky franchise, of anything, frankly. We talk about all kinds of shit. Voice of Reason, any final thoughts?
Subscribe, share.
Yeah, please do, and we'll see you guys again tomorrow. Thanks.